A growing global health problem that poses major challenges, most especially in developing countries. Find out how this international distributor of innovative health products came up with a series of solutions to help increase a patient's chance to survive the odds. In 2020, the Philippines hit a record of 354,398 prevalent cancer cases within a 5-year period. But because of poor access to health care, especially for people living below the poverty line, the advances and breakthroughs in cancer remain unattainable to many.
Cancer refers to a group of diseases that's characterized actually by cell growth, abnormal cell growth and proliferation, inflammation, as well as angiogenesis or formation of new blood vessels. It always starts with mutation in the genome or the genetic makeup of a person inside the cell. Before PPARs, most of my patients, they were unable to finish the chemotherapy regimens because of the side effects and because of discomfort during the process of chemotherapy.
Maria's son Dominic was diagnosed with stage 4 rhabdomyosarcoma when he was only 4 years old. While coping with the recovery of her other sick child, Maria found it hard to accept Dominic's condition.
It was actually very devastating kasi with Dominic, it was manifested mga 4 years old na siya. Unlike dun sa daughter ko na congenital talaga, baby pa lang. Yung mga bandang September, meron ng umuumbok-umbok dito sa leeg niya. Hindi ko talagang inisip na cancer kaagad siya until nag-nosebleed siya.
Dominic was prescribed chemotherapy, but his family insisted to rush to an integrative doctor to seek for alternative cure.
Medyo hesitant ako kasi as a mother, I know the side effects ng chemotherapy kasi. So what I did is that I rushed towards the integrative doctor of my daughter, who happened to be PPAR partner doctor of Simply Nature.
One of the hardest decisions to make for people living with cancer is choosing the kind of treatment that would work best. To help patients and their families deal with this growing health problem, one company commits to producing safe, credible, and natural health solutions by drawing on the latest bioscience technology to deliver a series of safe, efficient, and natural products. What is Simply Nature and what does it do?
Simply Nature is a company we created and founded about 10 years ago. Our mission is to find effective health solutions for people. So we provide natural products that work in combination with conventional therapy and medicine.
As an international company that provides natural solutions for cancer, metabolic syndrome, and degenerative diseases, the management upholds a health philosophy that centers on whole food nutrition as the frontier in health management.
When we talk about choosing treatment, especially in the area of cancer, patients are really afraid of chemotherapy because of its side effects, and they tend to then look towards natural products. But this is not a either conventional or natural choice. At Simply Nature, patients can have the best of both worlds. Our protocols work with conventional chemotherapy to minimize its side effects so that they can get the best treatment using both conventional and natural together.
Cancer is like a virus. It continuously evolves, it mutates. So it can develop defenses against our usual treatment modalities like chemotherapy.
Like I said, chemotherapy and radiation therapy have a lot of side effects. So more often than not, patients stop their treatment because of these side effects. It's very important to have the support.
With the supplements that we give the patients, there will be lesser side effects, so they will be able to finish their chemotherapy protocols more comfortably.
This company introduced PPARs, which is touted as one of the best natural ways of solving serious health problems.
PPARs stands for peroxisome proliferator activating receptors. It's basically a nuclear receptor found inside the cells. Now, when these receptors are activated, the benefit that you can get from that is, number one, cellular differentiation. Number two, it's to promote fatty acid metabolism. If you have better insulin function, your blood sugar will naturally go down. And another one is to induce cancer cell death by modulating the immune system.
As a sole distributor of PPARs, the company promotes its use to many reputable health institutions worldwide and actively organizes corporate health conferences and public health talks in Asia.
Simply Nature PPARs is made out of a special strain of these types of microalgae. It is very effective by protecting the bone marrow. We maintain the integrity of the immune system of the patient, which is very important to prevent infections and to fight off the cancer itself. And also, Simply Nature PPARs is also very dense in nutrients so that the patient can recover faster because of better cellular healing.
Sabi ko parang na-lead kami to an extraordinary and I must say amazing journey. I'm very proud of him. At a young age, na 8 years old, he believed that it's his purpose to siguro encourage other people then. We would like to really pay it forward with the knowledge that there's really, like Simply Nature, that can help people with cancer very much.
When fighting cancer, living healthy is very important because it allows us to pursue what is important to us in life, and that's what it's all about. When we can help a patient move from being bedridden to getting up, to be lucid in thought so that they can have conversations with their loved ones, it gives the whole process of fighting cancer a whole new meaning. And that is what drives us at Simply Nature.
But I really wanted to share yung point from Chadao. So 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, the sort of house I live in, or the kind of car I drove, but the world may be different because I was important in the life of a child.
Good morning, everyone. We are from Simply Nature, and that is Tito Shen, and I'm Tita Jesslyn.
Jesus loves me.
Jesus loves me.
For our gratitude, Mr. Shan.
Ha? Ito na ba ang mga sundalo ng Israelita? Maliit man ako sa iyong paningin, malaki ang aking Diyos. Tutulungan ako ng aking Diyos at lalabanan kita at tatalunin kita.
Nayanig ang paligid sa pagbagsak ni Goliath.
Pasalamatan naman natin si Mother Ricky at palakpakan din natin siya kahit siya ay nasa ibang lugar ngayon.
Paano kayo di gagaling, di ba?
Pinupurit, sinasamba kita.
And Lord, we believe you for testimony for every child in this place. In Jesus' name we pray. And all God's people say, Amen. Hallelujah.
Nung 2022 po, yung parang inipon ko talagang pera pambili nung Simply Nature, nung vials, na PPARs. Yun po yung iniinom ko.
Cancer lang siya, strong tayo. Kaya patuloy lang po tayong lumaban kasi may Panginoon tayong gumagabay sa atin lagi. Yun lang.
And on behalf of the Simply Nature team, God bless you all. Maraming salamat for blessing us this day. We hope that we have made you all happy. God bless you once again. Here in Simply Nature, we are always with you from start to healing. Thank you, everybody.
CA markers. Mataas siya. Then, nung after 3 months, nung pag-take ko ng Simply Nature, doon, naging normal na siya until now. Kahit si Dr. Johan na gulat siya kasi biglang normal agad in just 3 months, nag-normal agad yung CEA ko. 1 year and 5 months. Cancer-free. Dapat may food supplements kayo. Like Simply Nature na proven and tested ko na. Talagang hindi ako pwedeng mawala ng Simply Nature na
2019, I was being diagnosed a cancer of my uterus. So I was shocked. Sabi ko, bakit nagkaroon ako ng ganito? Samantalang hindi ako mahilig sa pagkain. I'm sorry, basura. Started the tablet and then the powder. Tinry ko din yung yung tawag dito.
Gel?
Yeah, yung gel. Yes. It's really good. After 2 months ng aking therapy and taking PPARs, sabi ni doktora, magpa-laboratory ka na. So, nung nagpa-laboratory na ako, praise God, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, lahat normal. To God be the glory. Salamat sa Diyos. Sa 2 months ko po ng aking pag-take ng PPARs, ako po ay cancer-free.
What's your general guidelines for physical activity?
Number one rule of thumb, get exercising or get to your normal daily routine as soon as you can. Okay? Don't just
Watch TV,
watch
Netflix.
TV, Netflix. It's because I have cancer, my body is weak, that I should not be doing strenuous activity. Wrong. Okay? You have to start exercising as soon as you can, as soon as you're able to.
Hi everyone, welcome again to another episode of Simply Healed. We're so happy that you are here with us again today. And Doc Jansen, welcome again.
Hi Sean, hello everyone. Glad to be here again.
Today's topic is very useful and very hopeful, because today we're going to talk about what do you do when you are in remission, a glimpse of what remission looks like. And that's something exciting. I pray that every one of our viewers, that we are all believing for that day where you will be declared in remission. Doc, remission is a medical term.
Yes,
what does
yes,
it
yes.
actually mean?
Okay, so when we talk about remission, it is the period or the time when there are already no detectable cancers inside your body. By no detectable, but what do I mean by no detectable cancer? So number one, there are no signs of cancer in imaging, in your imaging studies, and the tumor markers are normal. Okay,
So in other words, a key factor of this knowing that you're in remission is that you have to go for diagnostics.
yes,
So imaging is clear. So your CT scan, MRI scans are clear. No more signs of tumor.
correct,
And your chemistry is all your markers are
normal.
normal.
Yes, correct. So that is what remission is.
Doc, before you go on, I just want to ask, when we are considered in remission, and even for healthy people, does that mean that we are free from cancer cells?
Technically not, no, because there's still circulating cancer cells inside your body. It's just that your immune system can now fight them off. So there are no signs of recurrence. And also, we have to consider the ability of the imaging studies and the tests to detect the cancer. Now, yes, there will be circulating cancer cells inside your body, but they are not detectable by our present technology. Okay?
And Doc, and that's one of the great challenges in cancer, in trying to catch cancer early, because it's very, very difficult to detect cancer in its early stages, simply because your markers could be normal,
Yes.
or not high enough to make you think that you have cancer. And even if you suspect that you have cancer, it's too small to find any tumor, but yet it has already begun. All right, Doc, so when we are in remission, what are the key goals that our viewers can look forward to when the doctor tells them, hey, your scan looks good, your blood works came back, everything looks great, you can ring the bell, ding, 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 victory,
Yes, yes.
right?
So-
what's the goal right now?
Yeah. So I know this is the day that we really pray for, no? The day that your doctor tells you that you are already cancer-free, you are already in remission. Okay? So the primary goal now, because at this point in time, it's very important that you prevent the recurrence of cancer.
It's very, very important that during remission, your focus is now on preventing recurrence. So you have to fight just as hard,
Yes.
but just differently, going for chemo
Yes,
sessions
yes.
or anything.
Yeah.
But you gotta be as mindful and focused as you were when you're fighting cancer. Because even for something as common and as treatable as breast cancer, 1 in 3 breast cancer will come back. And definitely the second round will be a lot tougher to treat than the first.
Correct. Now, the second goal for patients who are in remission is to prolong the disease-free survival. This is also the period of time where you are basically in remission.
What's disease-free?
So, yeah, disease-free means that there are no detectable cancer in your body. So it's basically remission.
Okay, basically
so this
stay in
yes.
remission.
So we have to. The goal is to prolong the period of time wherein you are in remission. Okay, so that's the number one goal. So it's basically prevention of recurrence. Okay, so
what are the key factors? What are the main pillars that a cancer patient who's now in remission, cancer-free, should focus on?
There are a number of factors that you need to take note of. So number one is nutrition, or the diet that you eat. Number two is physical activity. Number three are supplements. You will need nutritional supplements for this. And lastly, what are the signs that you need to look for to know that you already have recurrence and you need to go to go back to your onco for a follow-up. Okay?
I think the last one is a very good tip for all the cancer patients in remission out there. Knowing what are the signs.
Yes.
And today, in today's world, especially like if you want to have a consult with Dr. Jansen, it's a teleconsult. So knowing the signs is a great thing because it's very convenient from your own home. You will know whether you need a further appointment or not.
Yes, because these signs, which we will discuss later, sometimes can be confused with mild symptoms which are not related to your cancer at all. So it might cause unwanted.
So if you every
worries.
time you have a little bit of a cough, if you have to go to the
Yes,
clinic and queue up, that's very difficult.
You'll be paranoid. So I mean.
So that's why that teleconsult is really very easy.
It's easy.
You don't have to queue up. Just have to have a scheduled appointment. 5 minutes. If there's nothing wrong, 5 minutes, you're done.
Exactly. You don't have to waste your time falling in line in front of the doctor's clinic anymore.
But it's so important. We'll talk about that again.
Yeah.
So Doc, let's go straight to diet. What is the key kind of diet cancer patient in remission should adhere to so that they stay cancer free?
Now, I've told my patients again and again and again. Okay, among all of the factors that you need to do, the food that you eat is the most important one. Because even if you do all of the tests, all of the treatment protocols in the world, the most expensive one, if you still eat junk, then you'll still be sick. Okay, your cancer will recur, and if cancer does not kill you, it will be heart disease, and it will be the other diseases. Okay, so this is not just to help your cancer, help prevent cancer. It's to really make your whole body healthier. Okay, so what is the approach? Right, so the diet we eat to prevent cancer is the same diet that we eat to prevent recurrence. Okay, so it is a whole food plant-based diet. This is the only diet that has been proven to show reversal of cancer. Okay, so what does a whole food plant-based diet mean? So whole foods means it's unprocessed and unrefined. Nothing edible has been removed from the food. Okay, and a whole food plant-based diet consists of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. Okay, so those 4 food groups. You have to focus on those 4 food groups.
What are legumes, just in case? Because that's a vegetable word that not everybody is familiar with.
Yes, legumes are anything that grows out of a pod. So that would be your beans, nuts, and seeds.
So we are in Philippines. We're talking about
Mongo,
long beans. Everybody
sitaw.
likes long beans.
Yes.
Sitaw. Everybody likes sitaw.
Yes.
And I like actually sweet peas because those are very nice.
Yes.
So,
aside from those, your garbanzos, your tofu, your soybeans. Those are legumes.
that's true.
Okay, so those are the foods that you need to eat. And how about the foods that you need to avoid? So in general, that would be no animal protein. So because animal protein can increase a substance called IGF-1 in our body. So IGF-1 means insulin-like growth factor 1. So that growth factor promotes tumor growth. And that growth factor can eradicate all the effects of a plant-based diet very easily. Okay, with just a small, even with just a small amount. So it's very important that we keep it at a very low level. And again, remind you, animal protein, consumption of animal protein will increase IGF-1. Okay?
And so that's the key scientific reason why you want to avoid animal protein.
Yes.
Doc, does animal protein also include fish? Because a lot of time people say animal protein is no chicken, no beef, no pork, right? And then fish is like the exception.
The exception. Fishes are animals, right? So
and you know
that includes fish. Yes.
And you know today there's lots of controversy in terms of harvested fish, farmed fish, a lot of antibiotics. So that's the problem of farmed fish. That means cultured fish. Then if you catch fish in the wild, we have the problem of
heavy metals,
mercury, chemical, what's that called? Toxic substances found in the fish, even in deep sea fish.
Exactly.
Yeah. So literally now it's really difficult to get clean fish.
Other foods that you have to be mindful of are saturated fats. So oils, no? So no oils. Why? Because oils, especially saturated fats, can promote metastasis. Okay, so you do not want that.
Wow.
Okay, so number 3 is refined carbohydrates. refined carbohydrates is also known as sugar, okay, or food items which are already devoid of fiber. Okay, so that would be your white rice, your breads, your candies, your French fries. Okay, so these things. So why should you be avoiding refined carbohydrates? Because it already has very low amount of fiber. Now, if you consume that, your intestine will absorb all of the sugar in that food all at once. So that will spike up your blood sugar, that will spike up your insulin. A very high insulin level can also mimic the effect of IGF-1 because IGF-1 is again what? Insulin-like growth factor 1.
It promotes tumor growth.
It promotes tumor growth. So insulin also has a similar effect. So you have to be very careful about refined carbohydrates.
And refined carbohydrates is basically your alcohol too, because alcohol is basically carbohydrates.
Exactly.
All right. So don't avoid drinking.
Avoid drinking any alcoholic beverages.
So eat a healthy diet, but our daily life is hard to really eat healthy because the foods that we have are quite limited in terms of nutrition. So vitamins and supplements, is that going to be part of your life once you're in remission? Yes,
very much so. Because there are certain foods that you have to keep eating every day to prevent or to lower the chance of your cancer coming back. Okay, so how should you be choosing your supplements? So I would choose this way. Number one question that you have to ask, is this a whole food supplement? So meaning, is this supplement an extract or not? Okay, because sometimes when we isolate a substance, okay, from the whole food, it becomes harmful.
Yes.
Okay, more often than not, but I'm not saying it happens to all cases. Okay, more often than not, it is so. So singular vitamin, minerals, or multivitamin supplements will not prevent recurrence.
So again, as Doc Jansen said, when choosing supplements, the first rule of thumb is if you can, get a whole food supplement.
Yes.
What are some examples of
What are some examples of a whole food supplement? So these would be like your turmeric powder, garlic powder, or garlic capsules, turmeric capsules as well, your microalgae like Simply Nature pea pars. Okay, so that is also a whole food supplement. Your malunggay, your mangosteen. Okay, so those are whole food supplements. Okay, so but however, no.
Is there a particular vitamin? Because if you are plant-based diet, there is one particular vitamin that's actually important.
Yes, it's vitamin B12. Okay. Now, vitamin B12, why is it so important? Now, vitamin B12 is only made by bacteria, so we cannot actually source this naturally from plants. And we only get vitamin B12 naturally through animal food products or animal protein. Okay? How is it so? It's because these animals, the cattle, the poultry, the fishes, the seafood, they graze. When they graze, when they eat the food around in their environment, they also eat the bacteria. So the bacteria that produces the vitamin B12, they also are able to eat. So the vitamin B12 made by the bacteria that they just ate, they store it in their body. And we humans eat the meat. Okay?
And we transfer the bacteria.
We transfer the vitamin B12 of the meat of the animals to our body. So
Doc, the last pillar, physical activity. What's your general guidelines for physical activity?
Number one rule of thumb, get exercising or get to your normal daily routine as soon as you can. Okay?
So don't just stay at home.
Don't just stay at home. Don't just
watch
TV, Netflix. It's because I have cancer. My body is weak. That I should not be doing strenuous activity. Wrong. Okay, you have to start exercising as soon as you can, as soon as you're able to.
How many hours a week?
How many hours a week? General rule of thumb would be 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity physical activity. Okay, so that is the initial goal that you need to
150 will be 2.5 hours.
Yes, 2.5 hours. So you
per
can
week.
just imagine
Half an hour per day.
Yeah.
About half an hour per day.
Half an hour per day. So it's manageable. And if you are someone who's really busy, you're an office worker, you're a boss of your own company, right? So you can just do 10-minute sessions in the whole day. So that is the initial goal, okay? But you have to do more.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes,
So it's
you
not
have
enough.
to do more. It's not enough. That is only the initial goal that I usually advise patients. Now, how much physical activity do you need to do to have a significant effect on the survival rate? Okay, it's more than 9 Met hour per week. Okay, so more than 9 met hour per week of physical activity increases cancer survival rates as much as 49%. So what does more than 9 met hour per week look like?
That's very technical.
So in terms of walking, that would be equal to almost like at least 3 hours of walking per week at a pace of 2 to 3 miles per hour.
So that's pretty quick.
Yeah, that's pretty quick. It's a brisk walking.
It's a brisk walking. It's not a slow, normal walk. It's what you do when you're walking to catch the bus, knowing that you're about to be late.
Yes. Okay, and also more than 360 minutes per week of exercise reduces the risk of dying from cancer by 70%.
70%.
Okay,
I think this is one of the most significant things you can do. But you know, Doc, it's really not easy. It is about 1 hour of exercise a day. That's a real commitment. But if you can do it, I think the other benefits is that you look good.
Yes. So what I usually tell patients is that the exercises or the physical activity that you do should be something that you really enjoy or something that you love doing.
Yeah. Or you know, you just keep telling yourself you're gonna be sexy. You're gonna be sexy. All right. That's what I do when I run on the treadmill.
Now, here's also another another problem. Now, majority of cancer patients now, when they are already on remission, they are so thin already. So how do you then bulk up your muscles? Because some of them are already underweight, and we all know that it can also be dangerous, right? So how do you bulk up your muscles? Number one, you have to eat a lot of protein, plant protein. Plant protein, all right? Number two, you have to do resistance exercises. You have to lift weights. You have to do calisthenics.
That means like push-ups,
sit-ups, these things. Exercise. Okay, so how much should you be doing? That would be between 2 to 3 times per week.
All right.
Okay, so that would be every other day.
My tip for you, if you are wanting to bulk up, you know, you go to the same shop that all these fitness people go to, but instead of choosing whey protein, they now have plant-based protein shakes. They contain a lot of protein, like the whey protein, but they're all plant-based. And most of the ingredients for these plant-based proteins are peas, your mongo, right, and soy milk, soy powder. All right, so that's what you can do if you want to bulk up with protein.
Okay. Now let's go to the last thing that you should be taking note of. Okay. So what are the signs of recurrence that you should be mindful about? So number one would be the return of cancer symptoms that you had before. Okay. So for example, you had a lump on your breast and you had surgery. Now that same lump would now recur on the surgical bed or where the surgeon just did the surgery or the incision. So a recurrence of a lump there would mean
it would mean that go call your uncle.
Okay? So that would be an example. Number two is a new or an unusual pain that's unrelated to an injury, or the pain doesn't go away. Now this is a sign of metastasis to the bone.
Oh,
okay? So
that's dangerous.
Yes, that's dangerous. So that's one. Another one is old age.
Old age.
Okay, arthritis. Well, it happens to everyone.
I think that's a very important one. So if you have like aches and pains all over your body, that don't just ignore that. Like we mentioned at the beginning of the program, it's so convenient now. Do a simple teleconsult. You just need to book a time with a doctor like Doc Jansen. 5 minutes, just get a peace of mind. Your doctor will probably ask you a few questions just to see if there's other signs and symptoms.
Yes,
and I think after 3 or 4 teleconsults, you'll probably be as good as your doctor as well, as knowing that, hey, just aches and pain is not enough. Do I have any other symptoms before you really need to schedule an appointment and go all the way down to the clinic to see your oncologist and perhaps get imaging done.
So next would be weight loss without trying. So this is unintentional.
Yeah, that's not a good thing, okay? Everybody's always usually happy about weight loss.
Well, it would be good if you are already overweight. If you're already overweight or obese on the get-go, right? That would be wonderful because you immediately reduce your risk of cancer. Now, if you are already someone on the normal BMI range and you're already someone underweight, then unintentional weight loss would be dangerous.
Yeah, especially if you're having weight loss and you're not doing anything except watching Netflix and eating junk food, and yet you're losing weight. Okay, it's not a miracle, okay? It means something is wrong.
Now, don't panic immediately, because there are also other diseases that has a similar effect. So again, this just prompts you to go for a consult. Okay, this is important for you to know so that you just don't just put it on the side. Okay,
Be vigilant. I think that's the key
Yes,
concept.
correct.
Be vigilant.
Okay, so next one would be easy bleeding or unexplained bruising. So this one is more for patients who have undergone chemotherapy, because we all know chemotherapy side effects is it destroys the bone marrow, and the platelets grows from the bone marrow. So if your bone marrow is quite destroyed already, then your platelet count can go down. Okay, and a low platelet count can result to easy bleeding or unexplained bruising.
So even though this may not mean that you have cancer, this is something important because you need to address a low platelet count.
Yes.
You need to address a low red blood cell, white blood cell count because that's indicative of your immune system. And as Doc mentioned earlier in the program, you have circulating cancer cells. So you really need your immune system during this time. So if having bruising and bleeding doesn't mean you have cancer, but it means your anti-cancer systems are not working and you should take immediate action.
So also for this same sign, for those of you who are leukemic or with leukemia, okay, the moment you see easy bleeding or easy bruisability, then that would be a sign that your leukemia has progressed or it has worsened. Okay, so this should prompt you to go back to your onco immediately.
All right.
Okay. Now, next would be a rash or allergic reaction such as swelling, severe itching, or wheezing. Okay. Cancer cells sometimes can secrete hormones that mimics this. So it can also be a sign. But of course, an allergic reaction or a rash can mean any other diseases as well. So again, please keep in mind that once you experience these signs, go for a consult, okay? Because this might be more, it's more benign than what you think, okay? Next would be chills and fevers. Now, if you experience chills or fevers, number one, it can mean an infection. More commonly, it can mean an infection. Number two, it can also mean that your cancer has come back. Why? Because cancers have a very high metabolic rate. So if your metabolism is elevated, then you will emit more heat. So that would manifest as a higher body temperature.
Oh, that's an interesting
so
thing to
that
learn.
would also be one of the signs. The next is frequent headaches. Frequent headaches can mean brain metastasis.
Okay, another worrisome
yes,
thing.
another more worrisome thing. Also, frequent headaches can also mean lack of sleep.
Okay.
It can also mean a very benign thing. So again,
don't scare yourself.
Don't scare yourself. Go for a consult. Okay. Next one will be shortness of breath. This means that your cancer might have metastasized to the lungs, or it can be recurrence of lung cancer. Okay. Bloody stools, blood in your urine would mean colorectal or urinary bladder cancer, or it can also be cervical cancer. Okay.
And do remember, certain cancers have high recurrence rates, so you should be aware of the average recurrence rate of your cancer. So that will help you adjust how vigilant or how sensitive you are when you see symptoms.
Okay. So next would be another telltale sign would be a cough that doesn't go away. So a cough that doesn't go away is also a sign that the cancer might have metastasized to the lungs, or it can, if you have lung cancer, it can be a recurrence as well.
Doc, you keep mentioning metastasized to the lung, to the bone. Is there a reason why you keep mentioning these two organs?
Yes. Because when we talk about recurrence, okay, now keep in mind, if we say that you're on remission, there are already no signs of cancer left in your body. This means that you have undergone surgery as well. Okay, the doctor have already removed the solid tumor. Okay, now if the cancer will come back, a recurrence, usually it's on the surgical site. If it's not on the surgical site, then it's elsewhere.
It has already metastasis.
Yes. If it's elsewhere, that's already metastasis. And more often than not, it's in the brain, it's in the bones, it's in the lungs, or the liver.
Okay, so those four organs, right? The brain, the bone, the lungs, and the liver.
And the liver. Usually, those are the four very common organs where cancer cells are metastasized to. Also, the lymph nodes as well. Okay, but the lymph nodes is more of a regional spread.
Okay.
Okay. So
now it makes sense why a lot of these symptoms If it's related to the lung, it's related to the lungs. All right.
Right? So by learning all of these, now you will be more equipped to know when you go for a consult. Okay?
And I can see all the questions coming up. Probably more questions on the diet and what other supplementation. So I'm quite sure that some of the viewers will be asking Doc Jansen, hey, I'm taking this supplement. Is this good? Is this effective? So continue to stay online as people have asked their questions, and I'm sure some of the answers will be of interest to you. So without further ado, let's move on to our Ask Me Anything segment.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sheila, and we are now in the Q&A portion on what we call the AMA or Ask Me Anything portion. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Simply Health Webinar brought to you by Simply Nature. We're a long time running health hair awareness webinar here in social media. Tonight's topic is about a glimpse to remission. I am very sure that you have learned a lot from our two gentlemen who shared our discussion tonight. So without further ado, to answer all our questions tonight, I'd like to call on first off our CEO of Simply Nature and PPARS expert from Singapore, Mr. Sean Lim, and of course, our lifestyle medicine doctor, Dr. Jansen Calalan. Good evening, Sir Sean, and good evening, Dr. Jansen.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So glad to have everybody here. Today is actually a holiday here in Philippines. So rain or shine, holiday or not, we have made a commitment. You can always count on us to be here every Thursday. Because so many of our viewers always tell us that they really, really appreciate the Ask Me Anything segment where we have live audience Q&A. So, hi Doc.
Hello Shine, hello everyone. Hi Sheila.
Yeah, let's go, Sheila.
Alright, okay. As you can see, there are so many questions coming in tonight.
Yeah.
We have new viewers as well. Good evening to everybody. First, our first question for tonight coming from Mr. Kamal: role of natural nitrogen monoxide (NO) to the human systems.
Okay, nitric oxide is a vasodilator. It's a powerful vasodilator, so it means that it opens up blood vessels. Now, for human health, okay, that is very important because by opening up blood vessels, that can lower your blood pressure. Okay, so very important that you preserve the nitric oxide system inside your body. So what inside the human body produces nitric oxide? It's the inner lining of the blood vessel. Okay, now if the inner lining of the blood vessel gets inflamed because of the food that you eat or if you are smoking, etc. So the nitric oxide capacity of the blood vessel, the nitric oxide production capacity of the inner lining of the blood vessel will decrease. Okay, so that's why the ability of your blood vessel to dilate or open up will be impaired as well. Okay, so it will have difficulty managing your blood pressure. That's why some patients have high blood pressure because of this mechanism. Now, how do you increase or improve nitric oxide production? So consume foods which are very high in antioxidants like your plant foods. Okay, and consume very low fat meals.
Can we delete?
So those are just some ways on how you can improve nitric oxide production. Okay, so there you have it.
Thank you, Doc. Sir Sean, would you like to add, or shall we go to the next question?
Maybe one question to Doc Jansen. Doc, how do we, facilitate the production of nitric oxide in our daily lives?
Well, it's basically to eat the right foods.
Any particular recommendation for what type of food?
All plant foods.
All plant foods.
So now here's the thing, you don't have to be on a plant-based diet to do so.
Oh.
Even if you just have to increase the amount of plant foods that you consume. Okay, so make sure there are green leafy vegetables, fruits, nuts and seeds, legumes, whole grains in every meal that you eat. Okay, even if you eat steak, junk foods, foods which are very high in salt content. As long as you consume very high amounts of plant foods, then that would take care of the nitric oxide.
Are there supplements? Is supplementation valid? Because I actually am quite familiar, because I've come across patients who use NO products from network marketing companies. Is that optimal? Is that something you would recommend? Or is this something you have to go and research on the product based on individual products?
The problem is with the nitric oxide in supplement form, there's no assurance that it gets absorbed inside our body. Okay? Since it's nitric oxide, it can interact with a lot of things from the food that we consume, right? So where on the other hand, if the nitric oxide is produced by the inner lining of the blood vessel, so it acts directly on its effect is more direct, instead of consuming it in pill form. So in pill form, it can mix in with your stomach acids, the digestive system, the gut microbiome. So there are a lot of interactions along the way. So there's no guarantee that it can enact its effect. However, if you want to boost the vasodilating property, or should I say the health of the inner lining of the blood vessel, then whole food supplements would be better. Would be a better option, like your malunggay supplements, your garlic powder, microalgae as well. Okay, like your Simply Nature pea-pars. Yeah, so that's how I would approach things.
All right, I brought this up, Doc, because I think what's important for our viewers to understand is, the concept of, for example, alkaline food and acidic food. One obviously acidic fruit is the lemon, but the lemon is always touted or explained to many people that when you drink lemon juice, it's actually going to be an alkaline effect on your body, even though it is acidic. So I think this highlights to everyone that just because something is good does not mean you can take it directly. I don't know how many of our viewers have actually tried collagen. You take collagen. It's a mislabeling, because your body cannot absorb collagen. It can only absorb peptides. And peptides are used to create collagen. You can't just take collagen, all right? So then again, so people misunderstand that they're eating collagen. No, you're not eating collagen. You're eating the raw ingredients to make your own body's collagen, because obviously the fish collagen cannot be put into your face and used for your facial tissues directly, all right? So doesn't mean something is good, you can take it directly. It could have negative effects. So the body chemistry is different. So on this token, I actually wanted to share that about 20-30 years ago, when we first looked at pea-pars, one of the amazing nutrients that pea-par has is RNA building blocks, nucleic acids and all that. So basically, when you eat foods, your body breaks it down and creates these building blocks that are then used by your body to build cells. Now, doesn't mean, like I said, doesn't mean you eat collagen, okay? You get collagen, you can use the collagen, right? So, but what's interesting about the RNA research, the nutrients that are found in our specific pea-par tablets is this. The Japanese actually did a research where they showed that if you ingest foods that are rich in RNA, it can actually directly be absorbed and used by the body. So that means part of the assembling of the biomolecule that your body uses, the building blocks, can be assembled outside your body and straight away go into to be used by your body. So these are rather interesting, just an interesting factoid for everybody. And that's to show you that you just have to do a bit more research on whether whatever you're taking, whether it will have the desired effect or not. But I'm glad Doc Jansen answered the question. So yeah, next question, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Jansen. Okay, so the next question, for a patient who took oral chemo for 5 weeks and also with radiation, what is the expected outcome if the patient is also using pea-pars for 6 weeks now on pea-pars powder?
Okay, depends on the initial parameters of your body before you underwent treatment. Okay, so depending also on the staging. Okay, but in general, you should have felt less side effects when you underwent chemotherapy and radiation therapy. Okay, other parameters like your blood chemistry, if you are diabetic, if you have a very high BMI, or if you have dyslipidemia, like if you have high triglycerides, high cholesterol levels, then these things should have improved as well. Okay. Also, it also depends on what kind of PPAR protocol you consume, and basically the diet that you had during this period. Okay, so there are a lot of factors that needs to be taken into account to really know how you the factors that we would expect to have improved. No? But the things that I have mentioned, the factors that I have mentioned, these are the things that we would expect to improve. Okay.
So to add on to Dr. Jansen's answer, we can't answer specifically to the question to the patient who's asking this question unless you give us more details. But I can tell you generally, I can answer your question generally. So for one, as Dr. Jansen has said, your chemo should be more pleasant. If you are not having any side effects, then that's confirmation that the PPAR protocol is actually working, because you're not feeling any side effects from chemotherapy. If you have side effects but they are very mild, like nausea, but you are not like bedridden, then again, this is proof that the PPAR protocols is actually working. Okay. Next, for sure, the metabolic syndromes in your body, if you had pre-existing blood sugar, blood cholesterol, these metabolic syndromes, they should be way much better under control. It actually should normalize, by now, taking 6 weeks. It should become very close to normal. Again, especially if you're taking the liquid extracts. If you're only taking the tablets, then the utilization of the PPAR effect might be more geared towards fighting the side effects of your chemotherapy. Okay, so we have patients that that shared some sensitive information with me. One was very interesting. She was sharing that it's a she. So she was sharing that once she started chemotherapy, her menstrual cycle was disappeared, and her uncle told her that that's going to happen as long as she stayed on the chemo. But she said after she started taking PPARs, her menstrual cycle started again. So that just goes to show how the PPAR protocol protects and normalizes your body's function back to normal, right? Even though it's facing a lot of stress from the chemotherapy. Now, the actual effect on the cancer, that would really be a case-by-case basis, depending on the type of cancer, how the staging of the cancer. But 6 weeks of both chemo and PPARs, you should be seeing positive, especially if you're using liquid extract, you should be seeing positive results. If it's 1 or 2 weeks, might be too early, but 6 weeks, which means you probably have gone for four sessions. Yeah, I'm sure pretty soon your uncle will be asking you to go for a diagnostic, a scan that they can take a look at how things are. So from there, you should be seeing positive results. Okay.
Yep. Breast cancer is a solid tumor. It's a solid tumor, right? So if you mix in these three things, PPAR liquid, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, the tumor should have shrunk as well. Okay. Tumor should decrease in size.
Yep. So I hope that answers the viewer's question. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sir John and Doc Jansen. Alright, so the next question coming from Mr. Kamal: what is your opinion regarding this germinoma?
This germinoma. Okay.
Okay. While Doc Jansen's preparing his answer, I'll go to the next one.
Okay, sir. The next question, actually, there's a question coming also from the same person. Difference between PPAM and medicine.
I think he meant PPARs, right?
PPARs,
okay.
yes.
Okay. Wow, the term medicine, I'm also tempted to Google because, let's do layman conventional understanding, where probably what this person is asking. When we talk about medicine, we are talking about conventional medical practice. So conventional medical practice uses drugs, all right? Drugs to treat patients, okay? Conventional medicine does not recognize nutrition as a sort of a treatment. It's more of a support. Their main tool in conventional medicine is to use drugs. Okay, drugs are specifically in many countries defined as a synthetic or synthetically created treatment. Okay, so basically, let's say if you're taking vitamin C pill, it's not a drug. A drug is seriously, my cousin's a doctor, so I once asked him to comment on PPARs. So here might be a clue to understanding the answer to your question. I asked my cousin, who is a doctor, to comment about my PPARs product. His answer to me was very helpful. He said, I can't comment on your product. I said, cousin, you're my family, right? I'm sure you can say something good, or at least illuminate me about my product, whether it's good for patients or not. This was like 20 years ago. And he was telling me, I can't because I'm a doctor. I said, precisely because you're a doctor, I'm asking for your opinion, right? And his answer to me is, Shen, as a doctor, I'm not trained to assess nutraceuticals. I am trained in the application of poison. Doc Jansen, I don't know whether you would, how would you react to that very strong statement, but it's coming from a doctor. You agree, right? Okay, because there is no healthy person that will take a drug. No one in their right mind will take a medicine. So what is medicine? Medicine is poisons with beneficial medical effects. But a healthy person will not take medicine, all right? So what's the difference between PPARs and medicine? Our PPARs protocols are taken by healthy people and sick people. So I'm perfectly healthy. I don't have any medical problems, but I do take our tablets every day for the last 20 years. And occasionally, I do take even the liquid when I'm feeling a bit drained, or I can feel like I'm not healthy, I'm moving towards, I feel a flu coming, or I feel I'm very fatigued and I'm very exposed to, in our line of work, we are exposed to pathogens. So I feel that I need a boost. Yeah, I even take liquid for that. So I'm not sick. I can take PPARs. But nobody in our audience, nobody on the street would ever take a chemotherapy drug if they don't have cancer. So I think that highlights the main difference between PPARs and medicine. Yes, the way the PPARs work, it has therapeutic effect, but in itself, our protocols are not like drugs. They are not poisons. They are actually food-based, right? That means they don't have any toxicity. There's no long-term toxicity built up as well. So they are very, very safe, and they are used by not only sick people, but also healthy people who don't want to get sick.
Thank you, Sir Khan. Actually, he kind of made a follow-up question on that. He actually abbreviated the meaning of PPAM. He really meant PPAM.
Okay. Wow, Kamal, you are asking lots of questions today, all right? Kamal is from India. I noticed. I think so. Okay, so for Kamal, Ayurvedic medicine in both Singapore and Philippines and Asia, Southeast Asia, because India is part of Asia as well, is not very predominant. The practice of Ayurvedic medicine is quite nascent in Southeast Asia. It's usually only practiced among the Indian community. So I am afraid I'm not in the position to comment about it. Although I have some clients who use our PPAR protocols because they are Indians themselves. they also use Ayurvedic in combination with our PIPA protocols. But that's to the extent that I can comment. But I have to say one thing. Ayurvedic medicine, like traditional Chinese medicine, have histories that are longer than drugs, the Western drugs. So definitely amongst the Ayurvedic medicine, there are definitely many prescriptions that are that work and are effective. But specifically which ones are good and effective, I really cannot comment because I haven't experienced Ayurvedic medicine myself. But same as traditional Chinese medicine, the history is longer than Western conventional medicine. So for something to survive successfully for thousands of years, there definitely must have been great benefits. All right, yeah. So don't just brush aside your historical medical practices that have stood the test of time. Yeah. Next question. Doc Jansen, you're ready to...
Yeah. Okay. For Kamal, right? Kamal? Okay.
Yeah.
So for Kamal, what's my opinion regarding this germinoma? Okay, this germinoma, I took a break a while ago just to...
Confirm.
No, not really confirm. It's to collect my thoughts on how to explain this in layman's term. Okay, because this germinoma is it's a very technical term. Okay, this germinoma comes from the sex, the reproductive cells. So for females, that would be egg cells. For males, that would be sperm cells. Now, in human development, human embryonal development, the egg cells and sperm cells comes from a one stem cell only. Okay, so the Y chromosomes determines that this stem cells becomes sperm. Okay, now the stem cells, okay, that is where this germinoma comes from. So this is stem cells called germ cells. Okay, germ cells. Now, if the germ cells becomes malignant or there's a mutation in them, then it becomes this germinoma. Okay. Now this germinoma can so as just what I have said, no. These germinomas are a form of congenital disease. Okay. So even when the inside it develops when we are still inside our mom's womb as a fetus. Okay. Now, the treatment for this germinoma is quite simple. It can be surgically removed. It responds well to chemotherapy and radiation therapy. Okay. Having said that, when people develop these germinomas, usually the prognosis is very good. Okay. I think it's almost close to 100% remission in 5 years. Okay, but of course, this has to be treated early on. Okay, the earlier that it is detected, the better. Okay, now on to your Ayurvedic medicine question, right? I actually use one ingredient that you use in Ayurvedic medicine. So I use amla in my protocols. Because amla has a lot of evidences that it really works for metabolic syndrome and for cancer as well. Okay, so by evidence, this evidence means that amla has been put in the rigorous clinical trials used by Western medicine. Okay, so same protocols that pharma companies use or the clinical guidelines. The clinical guidelines used by the medical community. So that's why I use amla in some of my protocols. Okay, so there you have it.
Wow, see, like I said, our traditional medicines that have survived thousands of years. Let's not just brush them aside. There are many gems hidden in those practices. I see one that I really want to answer. Nits Skusgang. Yeah. If the cancer is not active and the patient does not do chemotherapy and wants to use only PPARs, what is your opinion on this? Let me give my opinion and then Doc Jansen will give his. Okay, number one, my understanding of not a cancer cell is a cancer cell. So what by not active, I'm assuming what you mean is that it's not aggressively growing. is probably in the first stage, second stage, all right? What's my opinion on this? Try, but monitor closely. Okay, so what I'm saying by this is this. Because your cancer is in the early stages, and if you're very convicted that you want to do only natural, I fully support you, okay? However, because your cancer is also only in the early stages, that means if you were to apply conventional medicine together with PPARs, all right, but not alone, okay? Together with PPARs so that you can mitigate or you can reduce all the side effects, those are very good options that you have. So my opinion is that do it, go ahead, you can, you will have good success. However, make sure that you are periodically checking your cancer, and based on the type of cancer, you need to find out how often you should go for a scan. Why? The moment the cancer picks up speed, I would suggest that you go for a conventional intervention where it is stronger and faster. You just don't want your not active cancer to become very active, right? So while it's not active, yes, the option stage 1, stage 2, it is a valid option to go all natural, all right? So we're not here pushing chemotherapy. In fact, we have many patients who do very well just going all natural. However, one of the benefits of PPARs is that it can mitigate or it can eliminate or help you manage the side effect of chemotherapy. So it's like you're going to a fight, right? Keep your gun in your pocket, all right? In case your enemy also carries a gun, you have the weapon ready. So what I'm doing is that, what I'm just saying to you is do a bit of research, or maybe see an uncle. Let him tell you what he's prepared to give you. You don't have to go for it, but at least you prepare yourself just in case if things change, you know exactly what to do, okay? But like I said, yes, I have many personal doctors like my Lola, who is one of the first integrative practicing doctors in Philippines. She cured herself of 2 times leukemia, and not just leukemia, aggressive forms of leukemia. She outlived her oncologist. So the oncologist is dead, she's still alive, all right? And she did that all naturally. She did not go for chemotherapy, and obviously for leukemia, you can't really operate on it, right? So she really cured herself naturally. She was very disciplined. So for those who are wanting to do all natural, please be very disciplined, and I will encourage you, if you're going all natural, to have a consult with Doc Jansen so that you really have the strongest all natural approach. And if you go all natural, your lifestyle becomes a very strong factor in your success. Okay, Doc Jansen, I give the floor to you now.
Yeah, okay. So, Nitz, your question is if the cancer is not active, no? Yeah, so by not active, so what I understand from this is that the cancer is not growing anymore. So it's like dormant. I actually have a patient that has such a thing. Okay, 2-year-old girl. Now, this patient of mine previously had underwent chemotherapy already. Now we're just monitoring. Her cancer is not active anymore, but she's still using PPARs. But the PPAR protocol that I gave her is only tablets now. Now, only tablets now. That's the one that I recommend. So, for you, if your cancer is not really growing, I mean, it's inactive, just like what you told us, then just the tablets would be enough already. Now, once the cancer becomes active again, so it starts to grow, you feel symptoms, right? Then that's the time that you have to consider other medical interventions. Now, the reason being is that don't just rely on PPARs. The reason being is that PPARs can actually make the conventional treatment more effective. Okay? So it makes it more hostile, the conventional therapy. It makes them hostile to the tumor. So by conventional therapy, that's not only chemotherapy, no? That's including immunotherapy, radiation therapy. And then, it also mitigates their side effects. Okay, so that's the wonderful thing about PPARs. Okay, so
Doc, I want to add to that. Nitz, I know you're asking on behalf of Miss Barachina. If you want to go aggressive and try to reduce the dormant tumor, that means that the tumor to shrink, right? I would suggest you go for a consult, and Doc, you probably would prescribe, since it's not urgent, it's not critical, maybe the PPAR powder, all right? The reason is because our PPAR protocols, the extracts, are effective for all forms of benign tumor as well. So if you're trying to shrink a tumor and you're not under pressure, time pressure, because the tumor is not growing, it's just staying dormant, that's the best time to try and shrink it, right? Without surgery. Of course, so then let Doc Jansen know that your aim is not just maintain the tumor as its size, but you actually want to try and shrink it naturally. And I'm sure he'll put you on one of the extracts, and he'll help you monitor, probably also give you a schedule on when you can go for a scan to know how you're doing, whether to continue the protocol or to make adjustments to it.
Thank you, Sir Sean. Thank you. It's a very common question that we receive here in Simply Nature, because Simply Nature is very well known as a cancer solution. So for some people who have metabolic syndrome and non-active cancers, they usually ask this: can PPARs be good to me? Good for me, even if I don't have cancer? So it's really a good question. Thank you, Ms. Nitz, for that question. Okay, so for the next question that we have here, okay, hello, can you hear me? Okay, good. Okay, so the next question coming from Ms. Josephine Peralta: is taking collagen drink can cause cancer?
That's a good question.
no, not that I know of.
Okay, I think this is the reason why, right? We feel that collagen messes up with, it's very it's something like genetic level. So okay, it's a good question, because here's my addition to what Doc Jansen said. Be very careful when you take products like this that you take for beauty. Please do not buy the cheapest one available. Okay, the fact that you ask the question means you realize this thing that you are taking is very foundational, very basic. It could affect many aspects of your body, right? And it makes sense, because peptides are used to create basically your flesh, right? That's why you take collagen, your joints as well. So it actually will go to many parts of your body's organs. So my advice, when we are taking something used so extensively in your body, please go and buy the good brands, okay? So I said this in another program before. It is actually not wrong. The general rule of thumb in healthcare products is, okay, it's not true all the time, but it's a good rule of thumb. If it's more expensive, generally it is safer and it is better, okay? But there are a lot of things that are very expensive, but it's all fake, okay? There's no difference. But here it is. It is still safer to buy the expensive one than to buy the cheap ones, okay? Because it's something you put in your mouth, goes into your body, okay? And by expensive, I don't mean expensive and a brand that you've never heard before, okay? So go for brands that are recognized, because they have a lot to lose if any of their products are not safe, okay? You don't want to buy an expensive product from a fly-by-night company that suddenly just disappears when something goes wrong, right? So this is another reason why be very selective in your choice of healthcare products, especially if you're taking it every day. All right.
Thank you, Sir Han. It's very encouraging. Okay, so the next question. Remember a while ago, the patient took 5 sessions of chemo with radiation, 6 weeks already on PPARs powder. He followed up, and the question is, for cancer patients, is the recommended diet the dairy-free, predominantly plant-based? Because he has been prescribed a low residue diet due to his obstructed intestines. What diet should he follow?
Low residue?
Low residue
low
diet.
bulk. So vegetables have bulk because he has obstructed. Yeah.
Okay, you have to go for a consult this time because the block in your intestine, I have to know if it's colorectal cancer or if it is an enlarged lymph node compressing your colon that is causing the block. Okay, so you have to go for a consult so I can make the proper dietary recommendation. Now, you're correct. A plant-based diet should be the default diet that you should be eating. Now, here's the thing. Should you be eating a solid plant-based diet or a liquid plant-based diet?
Oh, okay. That's a good good insight.
Yeah, so it would depend on these two things. So you have to go for a consult because I have to look at your scan. Okay?
Wow, I enjoy questions like this. It really makes me know that we're making a difference to the treatment of the viewers, right? Yeah, when we can go to such a specific, and you can hear the excitement in Doc Jansen's voice, like let's go solve this thing right now. All right, so he's.
Let me see again the.
Yeah.
Let me see the question again.
No, this question is private,
A
straight to
private
Sheila.
straight, low residue diet.
Okay.
Let me confirm.
But by the way, speaking of consultation, should you wish to have a consult with Doc Jansen Calalan, the link where you can schedule a consult with him is in the description box. Or you can also type in how to consult so we can also reach out to you individually.
Yeah, this is, in this case, you have a very difficult case. This is a therapeutic dilemma. Yeah, because the reason why you are prescribed with a low residue diet, so low fiber diet, is to decrease the bulk of the stool and to decrease the frequency of bowel movements in order to reduce the painful symptoms. Now, if you go on a low residue diet, then that would not address the root cause of the disease. That would just be a band-aid solution. Okay, so it's like you're in pain, let's prescribe you with a pain reliever. Okay. Now, for cancer, it's very important that we address the root cause of the disease. So, what is the root cause in cancer? It is the mutation in the DNA of the tumor cells. So, with this, here's how I would approach things. You should still go on a plant-based diet. However, you have to go on a liquid or a soft plant-based diet, so that it would be easy on your stomach, okay, or on your bowel. Okay, so it's easy to digest as well. Okay, because a plant-based diet would stimulate your immune system so that your immune system can go and kill the cancer. Now, it would be best if you combine this with immunotherapy, because if you combine that with immunotherapy, the plant-based diet itself would make the immunotherapy more effective. Okay, the immunotherapy protocol that you should undergo depends on what type of breast cancer you have, but usually it's pembrolizumab. Okay. Now another thing. That's basically it. Now we're going to actually have an episode about this. No, so. The relationship of a plant-based diet and its response to the body's response to immunotherapy with and without a plant-based diet. Okay, so please watch out for that episode because you're going to really learn a lot on how dietary factors influence immunotherapy. Okay, so there you have it. But it would still be best for you to go for a consult because we need to have a meal. We need to have a proper meal plan for this.
I'm excited for this viewer. Go for the consult because when Doc Jansen says let's design something, it means that he's excited to get onto your case and find the solution, right? So I'm curious, Doc, if plant-based foods are obstructive, then how is meat-based food less obstructive? Because of the lower fiber content?
No.
They don't not so much bulk, is it?
The thing is, olden day medicine, things that fiber cannot be digested by the system. Now, if it cannot be digested by the system, then somehow it can stay in the system for a longer period of time. But the thing is, a high fiber diet can make the bowel healthier, so it improves bowel movement.
The motility of the bowels, right? Yeah.
It makes the stool soft, so it's really very easy to move your bowel, to defecate. For a meat-based diet, that is not the case, because in a meat-based diet, you'll have constipation, basically, because it's devoid of fiber. And of course, a meat-based diet would also be carcinogenic. So that would just be fueling the cancer in the first place. So it won't really help. Okay. So the thing is here, fiber is really the key. Okay. However, the form in which you consume it should be taken into consideration.
I want to interject here, Doc Jansen. I know for this viewer, your uncle will probably give a very scary scenario about avoiding high fiber foods. That's because they are not specialized in nutrition. So they tend to look at this fiber content in food in a very simple way. Just like non-cancer doctors will look at chemotherapy in a very simple way, not understanding that not every chemotherapy drug is the same, that there are new drugs out, that there's targeted chemotherapy. To other specializations, they may just think it's all just chemotherapy. So the reverse is also true. A doctor will just say, oh, don't take bulky vegetables because it will get your system stuck. But there are different options available to still make it work. So again, it's not their specialty, so they will tend to be more extreme in their recommendation. And like I said, the best person to ask would be a lifestyle doctor like Dr. Jansen. My advice next is, I just got off the phone this morning with an inquiry from a current patient referring his family member. So his family member has problems eating because of throat and mouth cancer, spread to the throat and mouth. So it's so swollen that they can't take in normal foods. So the family member is not responding well to the chemotherapy, not because the chemotherapy is not working, it's because the patient is malnourished. So imagine you're not getting the nutrients, and at the same time the chemotherapy is taking a toll on your body needs to repair. So it's just a terrible combination. So my advice to him, my protocol to him was to take lots and lots of PPAR tablets, okay? Because just for those of you out there who are using our PPAR tablets, here's a very simple experiment for you to do. Take a cup of water, drop one tablet into that water, right? 15 minutes later, you come back. The tablet has disappeared. It literally has dissolved. If you shake it a little bit, it's like totally breaks up into microscopic. All you see is the water looks green, you know. So that's, just imagine how can that stuck up your system. It breaks down into to the point that you cannot see it, right? You can't see pieces of it anymore. So and our microalgae is completely plant-based. So here is for a solution. Now, I'll tell you what's my record of eating tablets in a single day. I've gone 3 days in a row, taking about 150 tablets a day. Yeah, doc, that's like 50 tablets 3 times a day, all right? Okay, why did I do that? I was actually fasting. I was fasting because I was doing a 3-day conference, and I was the keynote speaker for the whole conference, which means I spoke about 8 to 10 hours a day. Now, I have a habit when I do a live audience speaking, I don't like to eat. Because every time I eat, and then I need to do my session, my blood goes to my stomach and I feel drowsy. And the sessions that I do are very high impact. This is actually a NLP based programs, so it requires me to be very active and very alert because we have to do on the spot adjustments and NLP on the spot on participants. So I cannot afford to be dull. So instead of taking food, I pop like 50 tablets to 70 tablets of our PPAR tablets as a meal replacement, you know. So what does that mean? That means for patients cancer patients who have huge issues taking in food. You can either dissolve the PIPA tablets, crush it into powder, and dissolve it into the tube that feeds directly into your stomach or down your throat, right? Or you can just take lots of the tablets, right? So for people with possible obstructive passages, chew the tablets before you eat it, all right? Now, if you find chewing the tablet is something not palatable, okay, that you don't like the taste, then what you can do is you can take the tablets and simply crush them, all right? It's very easy to crush. They crush into very, very fine powder. You just mix it with a little bit of water, and when you drink it down, you can't taste anything, all right? Because you didn't chew it, okay? So that's a few ways where for people who are malnourished and yet cannot eat solid food, but you want the highest nutrition for the least amount of, size, then the tablets is the most nutritious thing you can take, all right? And you don't have to chew much. Okay. Yeah, so that's just another usage. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Sir Sean. Thank you, Dr. Jansen. Talking about fiber, next question coming from Ms. Eliza Anglo. Is it okay if I drink Cleansing Plus after I take EPARS Plus tablets?
Give it a time break, right? Maybe an hour.
Give it a time break, but depends on what your goal is, right? Because sometimes I prescribe Cleansing Plus in the morning. Sometimes I prescribe it in the evening. So sometimes I prescribe it after meal. Sometimes I prescribe it together with meal. So it depends on what goal you want to have with your cleansing, right? So okay, I'll give you some scenarios.
All right.
So for example, we have a patient who is very high BMI, obese. Then the patient really cannot stop eating. Let's say, for example, the patient is also diabetic. So for this case, I would advise the patient to take the Cleansing Plus in the morning. So together with his or her breakfast. So it's because Cleansing Plus is very bulky. So it it makes you feel satisfied in a very short amount of time, and you cannot really absorb you cannot really absorb anything from Cleansing Plus because it's really just fiber. Okay, so with the fiber in Cleansing Plus, you will eat way less food. So yeah, you eat way less food. So for this patient, it will help him decrease the amount of calories that he or she is eating. So that would help his diabetes. That would also help in weight loss. Okay. Now, for example, someone is constipated. Then I would advise the patient to take Cleansing Plus at night. Okay. So when at night before dinner. Okay. Then just so he can move his bowel the following morning. Okay. It also depends on the person's lifestyle because if you drink Cleansing Plus in the morning, usually around in the evening or in the afternoon, you'll already feel your stomach calling you out.
Yeah.
You'll move your bowel already. So some people cannot tolerate this, so it can be quite uncomfortable, especially when they're working. So I would then advise them to drink Cleansing Plus at night.
At night.
Okay. So really depends on where the patient is at, right? Or the patient's situation. Yeah. So that's how I would do things.
My comment about this is that if you want the absorption of the PIPA protocol that you are taking, then it will be more ideal if you gave a time lag between your Cleansing Plus, because Cleansing Plus is dietary fiber, and one of the purposes of dietary fiber is to bind nutrients.
Yes.
All right. So that it's not fully absorbed, or it's absorbed more slowly. So you want to actually absorb your PIPA protocol faster into your system. So definitely, if you're using the extract, powder, liquid, don't take it with Cleansing Plus because those are expensive protocols. You want to take it with an empty stomach, let it be fully absorbed, wait at least 2 hours, before you take the...
Correct.
Yeah?
So after eating, allow 2 hours to pass before you take the extract or the tablets.
Yeah.
Or if you really want to take the tablets or the extracts first, then allow, take them at least an hour before you eat.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So there's clear instructions on the question.
This is replayable as well. Okay, so if you didn't get that, you can watch that. Thank you, Dr. Jansen. Thank you, Sir Sean. I think this will be our last question for tonight, coming from Mr. Kamal. What is the difference between lipoma and neurofibroma?
Those are totally 2 different things. Lipoma is just a fat that formed like a mass, like a tumor that is so that's lipoma. Neurofibroma is something that grew from the nerves. Okay. Yeah. So those are that's the difference. Neurofibroma can also grow from the kidneys as well. Okay. So that's the difference. Lipoma can grow anything from that has fat. Okay. So that's the difference between lipoma and neurofibroma. But they don't have similarities. They are 2 different entities. Okay.
I also see a question from Emily. Where can I buy PPARs? You can get them from our official Lazada shop, Lazada Mall. So buy from the official one. Just for you to know and for every viewer to know, we only distribute our PPAR protocols directly or through medical doctors. All right. So don't buy them from any non-official Lazada, Carousel. Go to the official Simply Nature mall, because there are fake ones out there. But you know that there are many fake things on Lazada trying to copy the originals, right? So officially we don't distribute through other distributors. The only people you can buy our products from are from medical doctors. So if your medical doctor doesn't carry our product, what you can do is tell them to look for us. We have med reps that will go and approach them, all right? Okay. We are very happy if any of you would like us to speak to your oncologist. We have fully trained medical reps. I mean, we have doctors like Dr. Jansen, Dr. Jimmy. So yeah, we will be very happy to make an appointment with your onco, just so that if you really want your onco to find out more about our product, so that you feel more comfortable using it together with his protocols. All right. So so that's my last comment. That's my comment. That's my comment. Yes.
And may I just say that we are not only on Lazada, but we are on Vans Mall. It makes a difference.
Yeah, last mall. And then we are on Shopee. All right, we're also on Shopee.
Also.
Yes. And you can go to our direct website to purchase if you're international client. All right. We also are on Lazada Singapore. We are on Shopee Singapore, Lazada Singapore as well. And then those of you who are in Europe, we have many patients from Europe and from the US. Go to our direct international website, simplynature.asia.
That's correct. Thank you, Sir Sean. Thank you, Dr. Jansen. Of course, before we say goodbye to our viewers for tonight, please give them a very quick closing parting.
All right, tonight the questions were fast and furious from India. Okay, so yeah, all right. So next thing is today we were very little questions on cancer, because we have many questions non-cancer related. However, don't forget, next week every Thursday we are on. Right, we are here to answer your questions live. What I really enjoyed tonight was we really helped a few patients who really needed to make certain decisions. And for those patients, please quickly go for your consult with Doc Jansen. And if you are going to use Simply Nature protocols, we have a special deal. We are able to convert your consult fees to become consumable for Simply Nature protocol products. So yeah, please go ahead, go and see Doc Jansen so that you can get clarity and you can move ahead. All right. Yeah, that's all.
Very, very quickly, Kamal is also asking if we are MLM business.
We are not an MLM. Okay, no MLM. All right. The reason why no MLM is not okay. Again, I'm not saying multi-level marketing is not a good platform. I'm just saying that for us, it is important. Many of our patients have serious illnesses. This is why we choose not to do it through, we're not MLM product, because we want the patients to be supported by qualified doctors to give advice, right? I don't want to see a 4th stage cancer patient getting advice from a network marketing agent, because they may have very good intentions, but their knowledge base is not sufficient. It's life and death for many patients that use our protocols. So we only distribute directly through us or through medical doctors. Okay, we have a select few credible naturopathic practitioners, but that's about it. We do not distribute to non-medical practitioners. Okay, so we wanted to make sure every client and patient of Simply Nature protocols is supported by a fully trained medical professional.
Yes, thank you, Sir Khan. Doc Jansen?
So, everyone, so our topic for tonight was a glimpse to remission, right? So I hope you get the idea on how once you have won against the battle on cancer, you know what to do already. Okay. Now, of course, the battle doesn't stop there. We have to still be vigilant. Now, if you think that your lifestyle is not on par yet, then please you can go for a consult so we can help you change your lifestyle and guide you on how to maneuver in changing your habits. Okay, so also next week we're going to be talking about vaccinations among cancer patients. Now, just to give you an idea about this topic is about, if you're cancer patients, which vaccine should you receive? When should you receive them? What is the schedule? Are they safe? Okay. This is not the cancer vaccine for immunotherapy yet. Okay. That would be on a totally different topic. Okay. Probably next year. Okay. So next week's topic is vaccination among cancer patients. Okay. So please do watch that episode.
Yeah, so that's for those of you who need to get vaccination for other diseases and you have cancer. Yeah. So what's the strategy to do that? Of course, that includes COVID-19 vaccination as well.
Thank you, Sir. Thank you, Doc Jansen. Yes, once again, just to echo up what Doc Jansen said a while ago about our upcoming webinar this coming Thursday, December 15. That's entitled Cancer Vaccine. Should you take it before or after chemo? There you go. That's next week, Thursday. But before next week, before Thursday, for our dear VIPs out there, I'm sure I would like to apologize. We are being makulit, no? Calling you and of course messaging you about the upcoming event. This is not going to happen via Facebook, but this is an exclusive invitation happening via Zoom. So it's all for you. We have raffles ongoing during that day. So please don't miss it. We really hope to see you during that day, Wednesday, 7:30 via Zoom. And of course, for our dear viewers who wish to watch our webinars, upcoming webinars here in Simply Nature, please, we always have the Thursday night as our cancer webinar day. We are on December, right? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to say hi to Lily. I see her every week. So, I think Lily is trying to get a doctorate by learning everything from Dr. Jansen.
Okay. Yeah, Sir Sean, we are now in December and we are on to fast approaching the 2023. We would like to hear from our viewers what topics would they wish to see us do here in Simply Nature. So you can comment those down so we can also consider them in our next episodes here at Simply Nature. Okay? So also, for those who wish to get a Christmas gift for their loved ones, Simply Nature Peepers I must say, would be the best gift for your loved ones, especially for your parents and for your kids. Okay, so with that, we really wish to see you once again in our next webinars to come, and we really hope that you have enjoyed this webinar tonight. Thank you so much, because here in Simply Nature, we are always with you from start to healing. Thank you so much. Goodbye, and God bless you all.